The tribute empire, economic powerhouse of Mesoamerica, the architecture of extraction. In the imposing halls of the imperial palace at Tenochtitlan, where sunlight filtered through carved stone windows to illuminate codices painted with countless rows of tribute goods, the administrative genius of the Aztec Empire revealed itself through the most sophisticated economic system ever developed in the pre-Columbian Americas, a vast network of tribute collection that transformed military conquest into sustainable wealth generation while creating the first true imperial economy capable of supporting urban populations exceeding those of contemporary European cities. The tribute system that sustained Aztec imperial power operated according to principles that balanced maximum extraction with long-term productivity, recognizing that conquered territories must remain viable enough to continue generating wealth, while understanding that excessive demands could trigger rebellions that would eliminate rather than enhance imperial revenue. This delicate equilibrium required precise calculation of local capabilities, careful monitoring of tribute deliveries, and sophisticated record-keeping systems that documented the flow of goods from hundreds of tributary communities throughout Mesoamerica. The fundamental innovation that distinguished Aztec tribute collection from simple plunder involved the creation of standardized assessment procedures that evaluated each conquered territory according to its population, agricultural productivity, natural resources, and specialized manufacturing capabilities, while establishing tribute obligations that could be met through local production rather than requiring communities to obtain goods through trade or conquest of their neighbors. This systematic approach transformed conquest from a one-time extraction opportunity into a sustainable revenue source that could generate wealth indefinitely. The administrative structures that supported tribute collection included provincial governors appointed from the imperial nobility, local tribute collectors drawn from conquered elites who had demonstrated loyalty to Aztec authority, and specialized scribes who maintained the elaborate records necessary for coordinating deliveries from distant territories. These officials operated within clearly defined hierarchies that enabled efficient communication between imperial administrators and local producers, while providing accountability systems that prevented corruption and ensured accurate tribute assessment and collection. The tribute schedules that governed delivery timing reflected sophisticated understanding of agricultural cycles, manufacturing processes, and transportation logistics necessary for coordinating the flow of diverse goods from throughout the empire to storage facilities in Tenochtitlan and other major centers. The timing of different tribute categories ensured steady supplies throughout the year while avoiding seasonal bottlenecks that could overwhelm imperial storage capacity or create shortages during crucial periods when resources were needed for military campaigns, religious ceremonies, or diplomatic activities. The enforcement mechanisms that maintained compliance with tribute obligations included military garrisons in strategic locations, intelligence networks that monitored local political developments, and swift retaliation against communities that failed to meet their assessments. The reputation for brutal punishment of tribute defaulters served as effective deterrent, while the rewards provided to consistently compliant communities encouraged voluntary cooperation that reduced administrative costs and military requirements. The record-keeping systems that documented tribute flows utilized sophisticated pictographic codices that combined artistic excellence with practical functionality, creating beautiful manuscripts that served as both administrative tools and cultural treasures. These documents recorded not only the quantities and types of goods required from each tributary province, but also the specific dates when deliveries were expected, the routes through which goods would be transported, and the officials responsible for collection and verification activities. The storage and distribution networks that managed tribute goods included massive warehouses in Tenochtitlan and other imperial centers, regional distribution centers that could supply military campaigns or emergency relief efforts, and specialized facilities for particular categories of goods that required special handling or preservation techniques. The organization of these storage systems demonstrated remarkable logistical sophistication while providing imperial administrators with detailed inventory information that enabled strategic planning and resource allocation. The economic impact of tribute collection extended far beyond simple wealth accumulation to create multiplier effects that stimulated production throughout the empire, while enabling specialization and technological innovation that enhanced overall productivity and quality. The guaranteed markets that tribute obligations provided encouraged expanded production, while the standardization requirements that accompanied imperial demands promoted improvements in manufacturing techniques and quality control procedures. The social implications of tribute relationships included both exploitation and opportunity, as conquered communities faced heavy economic burdens while gaining access to imperial protection, trade networks, and technological innovations that could enhance local prosperity and security. The integration of diverse populations into imperial economic systems created unprecedented levels of interregional cooperation and cultural exchange while establishing hierarchical relationships that reflected military and political realities. The political dimensions of tribute administration included the transformation of conquered rulers into imperial administrators whose continued authority depended upon successful tribute collection and maintenance of local stability. This system preserved traditional leadership structures while redirecting their functions toward imperial service, creating collaborative relationships that reduced resistance while enabling effective governance across vast territories and diverse populations. The cultural aspects of tribute collection included the incorporation of local artistic traditions into imperial workshops, the preservation of regional manufacturing techniques that produced distinctive goods valued throughout the empire, and the creation of hybrid cultural forms that reflected the interaction between imperial demands and local creativity. The tribute system thus served not only economic but also cultural functions by facilitating the exchange of ideas, techniques, and artistic influences throughout Mesoamerica. The marketplace of empires. The great market of Tlatelolco, sister city to Tenochtitlan, represented the beating heart of the Aztec economic system, where tribute goods from throughout the empire converged with local products and long-distance trade items to create the largest commercial center in the Americas, capable of accommodating over 60,000 merchants, customers, and spectators during major market days while demonstrating the sophisticated commercial institutions that supported imperial wealth and urban prosperity. The physical organization of Tlatelolco Market reflected careful planning designed to facilitate efficient commerce while maintaining order among diverse populations engaging in complex economic transactions. Different sections of the market specialized in particular categories of goods, with luxury items occupying premium locations near the center, while bulk commodities and basic necessities filled peripheral areas where space was more abundant and transportation costs could be minimized through proximity to major causeways and canal systems. The regulatory framework that governed market operations included detailed rules concerning weights and measures, quality standards for different categories of goods, acceptable behavior for merchants and customers, and dispute resolution procedures that could address conflicts arising from commercial transactions. Market officials appointed by imperial authorities enforced these regulations while collecting taxes that provided revenue for market maintenance and general imperial administration. The currency systems that facilitated market exchanges utilized cacao beans as the primary medium of exchange for most transactions, with cotton mantles serving as units for larger purchases and quills filled with gold dust enabling the most valuable exchanges. This multi-level currency system provided flexibility for transactions of different scales while maintaining standardization that enabled price comparisons and commercial calculation across diverse goods and services. The tribute goods that appeared in Tlatelolco Market included cotton textiles from coastal regions, precious feathers from tropical forests, jade and other precious stones from distant mountain areas, obsidian tools and weapons from volcanic regions, and countless varieties of agricultural products that demonstrated the environmental diversity encompassed by the Aztec Empire. These tribute items mixed with local products and foreign trade goods to create an unprecedented diversity of available merchandise. The merchant guilds that organized long-distance trade included the famous Pacheca, who conducted dangerous expeditions to distant regions while serving as informal ambassadors and intelligence gatherers for imperial authorities. These specialized traders possessed extensive knowledge of foreign languages, customs, and commercial practices while maintaining the physical courage necessary for traveling through hostile territories where political conditions could change rapidly and unpredictably. The commercial relationships that connected Tlatelolco Market to distant regions included regular trade routes extending to Central America, the Gulf Coast, the Pacific regions, and the northern territories where different environmental conditions and cultural traditions produced distinctive goods unavailable within the immediate vicinity of the Valley of Mexico. These trade networks created economic interdependencies that enhanced imperial security while providing access to resources necessary for maintaining imperial luxury and technological capabilities. The price mechanisms that operated within market systems reflected supply and demand relationships while incorporating considerations of quality, seasonal availability, transportation costs, and political factors that could affect the flow of particular goods. The sophisticated understanding of economic principles demonstrated by Aztec merchants enabled efficient resource allocation while providing incentives for continued production and innovation in manufacturing and agricultural activities. The social functions that markets served extended beyond pure commerce to include information exchange, social interaction, entertainment, and cultural activities that brought together people from diverse backgrounds and distant locations. The market served as a forum where news traveled, relationships formed, and cultural influences spread throughout the empire while providing opportunities for social mobility through successful commercial activities. The technological innovations that supported market operations included standardized measures and weights, quality control procedures, preservation techniques that extended the shelf life of perishable goods, and transportation systems that could deliver fresh products across considerable distances. The development and refinement of these technologies reflected continuous adaptation to changing commercial needs while maintaining the efficiency necessary for large-scale operations. The international dimensions of market activities included participation by foreign merchants who brought goods from regions beyond Aztec political control while purchasing imperial products for distribution throughout Mesoamerica and beyond. These international commercial relationships provided imperial administrators with valuable intelligence about foreign political developments while creating economic incentives for peaceful relationships with neighboring powers. The cultural impact of marketplace activities included the spread of artistic styles, technological innovations, religious practices, and social customs throughout the empire, while enabling local traditions to influence imperial culture through the products and ideas that merchants brought from distant regions. The market thus served as a mechanism for cultural integration while preserving regional diversity and encouraging creative innovation. The logistics of power, the transportation networks that moved tribute goods from distant provinces to imperial centers represented one of the most remarkable organizational achievements in pre-Columbian history, relying entirely on human carriers and canoe transport to move millions of items annually across difficult terrain while maintaining schedules that ensured steady supplies of essential goods despite the challenges posed by seasonal weather patterns, geographic obstacles, and potential security threats. The professional porter corps that provided the backbone of imperial transportation consisted of trained specialists who possessed the physical strength, route knowledge, and organizational skills necessary for moving heavy loads across mountain passes, through tropical lowlands, and along dangerous routes where bandits or hostile populations might threaten valuable cargoes. These porters, known as Tlatelolco, developed sophisticated techniques for distributing weight, protecting fragile goods, and maximizing efficiency during long-distance expeditions that could extend over hundreds of kilometers. The relay systems that enabled rapid communication and priority transport utilized networks of rest stations positioned at strategic intervals along major routes, where fresh carriers could replace exhausted porters, while messages and urgent cargoes could be transferred without delay. These communication networks enabled imperial administrators to maintain contact with distant provinces while coordinating tribute collections and responding quickly to emergencies or opportunities that required immediate attention. The route planning that optimized transportation efficiency incorporated detailed knowledge of terrain characteristics, seasonal weather patterns, water sources, accommodation possibilities, and security conditions that could affect travel times and cargo safety. The imperial administration maintained maps and route guides that documented optimal pathways, while providing alternative routes that could be utilized when primary passages became unavailable due to weather, political conflicts, or other disruptions. The storage facilities that supported transportation operations included strategically located warehouses where goods could be temporarily stored during transit, regional distribution centers that could redirect cargoes according to changing priorities, and specialized preservation facilities that maintained the quality of perishable goods during extended transportation periods. The management of these storage systems required sophisticated inventory control and quality assurance procedures. The security arrangements that protected valuable cargoes included military escorts for the most precious shipments, intelligence networks that monitored route conditions and potential threats, and diplomatic agreements with neutral powers that guaranteed safe passage through territories outside direct imperial control. The reputation for swift retaliation against cargo thieves served as effective deterrent, while the rewards offered for information about threats encouraged cooperation from local populations. The coordination mechanisms that synchronized transportation activities with tribute collection schedules and imperial needs included communication systems that enabled real-time adjustments to shipping priorities, inventory management procedures that ensured appropriate allocation of transportation resources, and contingency planning that could respond to unexpected demands or supply disruptions without compromising essential imperial functions. The cost management systems that controlled transportation expenses included standardized rates for different categories of goods and distances, efficiency incentives that encouraged optimal utilization of porter capacity, and quality standards that prevented damage during transport while minimizing the costs associated with damaged or lost goods. These cost controls ensured that transportation expenses did not eliminate the economic benefits of tribute collection. The technological innovations that enhanced transportation efficiency included specialized carrying equipment designed for different types of goods, preservation techniques that extended the shelf life of perishable items during long journeys, and navigation aids that helped carriers maintain proper routes while avoiding dangerous areas or unnecessary delays. The continuous refinement of these technologies reflected ongoing adaptation to changing transportation challenges and opportunities. The training programs that prepared transportation personnel for their responsibilities included instruction in route geography, cargo handling procedures, security protocols, and emergency response techniques that enabled effective performance under diverse and potentially dangerous conditions. The specialized knowledge that experienced porters accumulated through years of service made them valuable assets whose expertise enhanced overall system efficiency and reliability. The international implications of transportation capabilities included the ability to project imperial power across vast distances, maintain communication with distant provinces, and respond rapidly to external threats or opportunities that required coordinated imperial action. The transportation infrastructure that supported tribute collection thus served broader strategic purposes while demonstrating imperial organizational capabilities to both subjects and potential enemies. The economic calculations that justified transportation investments included assessment of the value generated through tribute collection compared to the costs of maintaining transportation infrastructure, security arrangements, and personnel training necessary for efficient operations. The positive returns generated by these investments validated the imperial commitment to maintaining sophisticated transportation capabilities despite their complexity and expense. The provincial mosaic, the diverse territorial units that comprised the Aztec tribute empire, reflected the complex geographic, cultural, and political landscape of Mesoamerica, while demonstrating the imperial administration's ability to adapt extraction techniques to local conditions and capabilities without destroying the productive foundations that generated continuing tribute revenues. The coastal provinces that contributed tropical products included the Huasteca regions of the Gulf Coast, where abundant rainfall and fertile soils enabled production of cotton, cacao, vanilla, and exotic bird feathers that were essential for imperial ceremonial activities and luxury consumption. These provinces also provided access to marine resources including salt, shells, and fish that supplemented highland diets while supplying materials for artistic and ceremonial purposes. The highland provinces surrounding the Valley of Mexico contributed agricultural surpluses including maize, beans, chilies, and other staple foods that sustained urban populations while providing raw materials for textile production and food processing industries. These provinces also controlled important sources of obsidian, building stone, and other materials essential for construction projects and tool manufacturing that supported imperial infrastructure and military capabilities. The southern provinces extending into Oaxaca and Chiapas provided access to precious stones, exotic hardwoods, medicinal plants, and specialized manufactured goods produced by Mixtec and Zapotec communities whose artistic and technological traditions predated Aztec conquest by centuries. The incorporation of these skilled populations into the tribute system enhanced imperial access to luxury goods while preserving traditional manufacturing techniques and cultural knowledge. The western provinces bordering Tarascan territory represented areas of contested control where tribute obligations reflected ongoing military pressure and diplomatic negotiation rather than complete imperial domination. These frontier regions provided strategic buffer zones while contributing specialized products including copper tools, silver ornaments, and distinctive artistic works that reflected cultural influences from beyond the imperial boundaries. The northern provinces extending toward the desert regions contributed different categories of goods, including textiles made from maggi fibers, minerals from mountain deposits, and products derived from semi-nomadic populations whose mobility and local knowledge enabled access to resources unavailable through sedentary agricultural communities. These provinces also provided recruitment opportunities for military forces whose familiarity with difficult terrain enhanced imperial military capabilities. The urban provinces centered around major cities including Texcoco, Tlacopan, and other members of the Triple Alliance contributed manufactured goods, administrative services, and specialized personnel whose skills enhanced imperial capabilities while maintaining traditional autonomy in internal affairs. These allied territories provided models for successful integration of conquered populations into imperial systems without complete loss of local identity. The administrative arrangements that governed provincial tribute collection varied according to local conditions, while maintaining standardized assessment procedures and reporting requirements that enabled central coordination and oversight. The flexibility demonstrated in adapting imperial institutions to diverse local circumstances contributed to system stability while minimizing resistance and administrative costs. The cultural preservation that accompanied tribute collection included protection of local artistic traditions, religious practices, and social institutions that did not conflict with imperial authority or cosmic order. This tolerance for cultural diversity enhanced imperial legitimacy while enabling the preservation of knowledge and skills that benefited the entire empire through their incorporation into imperial activities and institutions. The resistance patterns that emerged in different provinces reflected local political traditions, geographic advantages, and external support opportunities that influenced the effectiveness of imperial control and extraction. The imperial response to resistance varied from military suppression to diplomatic accommodation depending upon strategic considerations and the costs associated with different enforcement approaches. The success indicators that measured provincial integration included tribute compliance rates, absence of rebellions, participation in imperial religious ceremonies, and cooperation with imperial military recruitment efforts. These indicators enabled imperial administrators to evaluate the effectiveness of different administrative approaches while identifying provinces that required additional attention or modified treatment. The long-term sustainability of provincial tribute relationships depended upon maintaining economic productivity while preventing excessive extraction that could undermine local welfare and provoke resistance. The imperial understanding of these sustainability requirements reflected sophisticated economic thinking while demonstrating commitment to preserving the productive foundations that generated continuing imperial revenue. The regional specializations that developed within provincial economies reflected both natural advantages and imperial encouragement of particular products that served tribute obligations while enabling local communities to benefit from their distinctive capabilities and resources. This economic diversification enhanced overall imperial resilience while providing individual provinces with competitive advantages that supported their continued prosperity. The mathematics of empire, the quantitative systems that tracked tribute flows throughout the Aztec Empire, demonstrated mathematical sophistication that enabled precise calculation of imperial revenue while providing the analytical tools necessary for strategic planning, resource allocation, and performance evaluation across hundreds of tributary communities with diverse capabilities and obligations. The accounting procedures that documented tribute collection utilized pictographic notation systems that could record complex numerical information while maintaining accuracy across different categories of goods and multiple time periods. The scribes who maintained these records possessed specialized mathematical training that enabled them to perform calculations involving large numbers, fractional relationships, and statistical analysis necessary for effective imperial administration. The assessment methodologies that determined tribute obligations incorporated multiple variables including population size, agricultural productivity, access to natural resources, manufacturing capabilities, and transportation costs that affected the ability of different communities to meet imperial demands. The mathematical models that guided these assessments reflected understanding of economic relationships and regional variations that enabled accurate prediction of sustainable tribute levels. The inventory management systems that tracked stored goods in imperial warehouses utilized mathematical techniques for calculating consumption rates, predicting future needs, and optimizing storage allocation among different categories of goods. These systems enabled efficient resource management while providing early warning of potential shortages that could affect imperial operations or military campaigns. The transportation calculations that optimized shipping routes and porter utilization incorporated mathematical analysis of distances, carrying capacities, travel times, and cost factors that affected the efficiency of moving goods from distant provinces to imperial centers. These calculations enabled administrators to minimize transportation costs while ensuring reliable delivery schedules that met imperial requirements. The economic analysis that evaluated tribute system performance included mathematical comparison of costs and revenues across different provinces and time periods while identifying trends that could affect future imperial income. These analytical capabilities enabled strategic planning that could anticipate problems while maximizing the economic benefits generated through tribute collection activities. The quality control procedures that ensured compliance with imperial standards utilized mathematical sampling techniques and statistical analysis that could detect variations in product quality while maintaining acceptable standards across diverse manufacturing locations and production methods. These procedures protected imperial reputation while ensuring that tribute goods would meet the requirements of their intended uses. The forecasting models that predicted future tribute revenues incorporated mathematical analysis of historical patterns, seasonal variations, and external factors that could affect provincial capabilities and imperial needs. These forecasting capabilities enabled advanced planning that could adjust imperial activities and resource allocation according to anticipated changes in tribute flows and economic conditions. The comparative analysis that evaluated relative performance across different provinces and administrative units utilized mathematical techniques for standardizing measurements and identifying best practices that could be applied more broadly throughout the empire. These comparative studies enhanced administrative efficiency while promoting continuous improvement in tribute collection and management procedures. The cost-benefit calculations that justified administrative investments and policy changes included mathematical analysis of the relationship between imperial expenditures and tribute revenues while considering both immediate and long-term implications of different strategic choices. These calculations provided objective foundations for decision-making while ensuring that imperial resources would be allocated to activities that generated optimal returns. The risk assessment procedures that evaluated potential threats to tribute collection incorporated mathematical analysis of probability factors, vulnerability patterns, and contingency requirements that could affect imperial security and economic stability. These risk assessments enabled proactive measures that could prevent or mitigate problems while maintaining system resilience under diverse, challenging conditions. The performance metrics that measured administrative effectiveness included mathematical indicators of efficiency, accuracy, compliance, and productivity that enabled objective evaluation of personnel and procedures while identifying opportunities for improvement. These metrics provided accountability systems that enhanced administrative performance while ensuring that imperial standards would be maintained across all levels of the tribute collection hierarchy. The wealth of nations, the economic transformation that Aztec tribute collection produced throughout Mesoamerica created unprecedented levels of wealth concentration while stimulating production, innovation, and specialization that enhanced overall prosperity despite the redistributive effects of imperial extraction and the political tensions generated by tributary relationships. The urban development that tribute wealth enabled included the construction of magnificent architectural complexes, sophisticated infrastructure systems, and cultural institutions that demonstrated imperial power while providing practical benefits for both elite and common populations. The concentration of wealth in imperial centers created markets for specialized goods and services while enabling investment in productive activities that generated additional economic benefits. The technological advancement that resulted from tribute collection included improvements in manufacturing techniques, transportation methods, and administrative procedures that enhanced productivity while reducing costs and improving quality. The concentration of skilled craftsmen and resources in imperial centers created environments conducive to innovation, while the demand for tribute goods provided incentives for technological development and refinement. The cultural achievements that imperial wealth supported included artistic projects, educational institutions, and religious activities that enriched intellectual and spiritual life while preserving and transmitting knowledge across generations. The concentration of cultural resources enabled achievements that would have been impossible for individual communities while creating shared cultural heritage that enhanced imperial cohesion and identity. The military capabilities that tribute resources supported included professional armed forces, advanced weapons technology, and logistical systems that enabled imperial expansion while protecting existing territories from external threats. The economic foundations provided by tribute collection enabled sustained military operations while ensuring that conquest would generate rather than consume imperial resources. The agricultural development that tribute demand stimulated included improvements in farming techniques, expansion of cultivated areas, and intensification of production that increased food supplies while supporting larger populations. The guaranteed markets that tribute obligations provided encouraged agricultural investment, while the prosperity generated through tribute payment enabled communities to improve their productive capabilities. The commercial expansion that accompanied tribute collection included growth in long-distance trade, development of new trade routes, and creation of commercial relationships that enhanced economic opportunities while spreading imperial influence beyond areas of direct political control. The wealth generated through tribute activities provided capital for commercial investment while creating demand for goods and services that benefited traders throughout Mesoamerica. The social mobility that imperial prosperity enabled included opportunities for individuals to advance through military service, commercial success, administrative competence, or artistic achievement while contributing to imperial welfare and cultural development. The concentration of resources and opportunities in imperial centers created pathways for advancement that would have been unavailable in smaller, less prosperous communities. The international influence that Aztec wealth generated included diplomatic relationships, cultural exchanges, and political alliances that extended imperial influence beyond areas of direct military control while creating networks of cooperation and mutual benefit that enhance regional stability and prosperity. The demonstration of imperial wealth impressed foreign dignitaries while providing resources for diplomatic activities and international cooperation. The environmental impact of intensive tribute collection included both positive and negative effects on natural resources, agricultural sustainability, and ecological balance that reflected the complex relationships between economic development and environmental stewardship. The imperial administration demonstrated awareness of sustainability issues while adapting policies to maintain long-term productivity and resource availability. The intellectual development that imperial prosperity supported included educational institutions, scholarly activities, and knowledge preservation that enhanced understanding of natural phenomena, historical patterns, and cultural achievements while providing foundations for continued learning and innovation. The concentration of intellectual resources enabled achievements in astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and other fields that benefited all imperial populations. The historical legacy that Aztec tribute collection created included institutional innovations, administrative techniques, and economic principles that influenced subsequent political and economic development throughout Mesoamerica, while providing models for imperial organization and resource management that demonstrated alternatives to purely extractive relationships between conquerors and conquered populations. The empire's ledger. The documentary record of Aztec tribute collection, preserved in magnificent pictographic codices and administrative documents that survived the Conquest period, provides unprecedented insight into the quantitative dimensions of pre-Columbian imperial economy while demonstrating the sophisticated record-keeping capabilities that enabled effective management of complex economic systems across vast territories and diverse populations. The Codex Mendoza, created during the early colonial period, documents tribute obligations from 38 provincial units while listing the specific quantities and types of goods required from each region according to imperial assessments that reflected careful evaluation of local capabilities and imperial needs. This comprehensive record demonstrates the systematic nature of tribute collection while providing detailed information about the economic geography of the Aztec Empire. The tribute schedules documented in imperial records indicate that annual tribute collection included approximately 7,000 tons of maize, 4,000 tons of beans, 4,000 tons of chia seeds, 20,000 tons of cotton textiles, 33,000 rubber balls, and countless other items whose total value represented the largest concentration of wealth in pre-Columbian America. These quantities demonstrate the enormous scale of economic activity that tribute collection generated while providing resources that supported urban populations exceeding 200,000 people in Tenochtitlan alone. The provincial assessments that determined tribute obligations reflected sophisticated understanding of regional economic capabilities while maintaining flexibility that could accommodate variations in local conditions and circumstances. The tribute requirements imposed on individual provinces ranged from agricultural products and raw materials to manufactured goods and luxury items that reflected both local specializations and imperial demands for particular categories of goods. The temporal patterns that governed tribute delivery ensured steady flows of essential goods throughout the year while avoiding seasonal bottlenecks that could overwhelm imperial storage and distribution systems. The scheduling of tribute deliveries from different provinces created regular cycles of activity that maintained constant supplies of food, textiles, and other necessities while providing periodic influxes of luxury goods and ceremonial materials. The quality standards that accompanied tribute requirements included detailed specifications for different categories of goods while establishing inspection procedures that ensured compliance with imperial expectations. These quality controls protected imperial reputation while ensuring that tribute goods would meet the requirements of their intended uses, whether for practical consumption, ceremonial activities, or diplomatic presentations. The enforcement records that documented compliance and violations provide evidence of the effectiveness of imperial control while revealing the challenges involved in maintaining tribute collection across diverse and distant territories. The patterns of compliance and resistance reflected local political conditions, economic capabilities, and cultural factors that influenced relationships between imperial authorities and tributary communities. The storage inventories that tracked accumulated tribute goods demonstrate the sophisticated logistics required for managing vast quantities of diverse materials while providing for their appropriate distribution according to imperial priorities and needs. These inventories reveal the enormous wealth concentration that tribute collection achieved while indicating the complex administrative requirements necessary for effective resource management. The expenditure records that document imperial use of tribute resources reveal the purposes for which collected goods were utilized, including military campaigns, religious ceremonies, diplomatic activities, public works projects, and elite consumption that demonstrated imperial power while providing practical benefits for imperial populations. These records indicate that tribute collection served multiple functions beyond simple wealth accumulation. The economic analysis that emerges from tribute documentation demonstrates the sophisticated understanding of economic principles that guided imperial policy while revealing the quantitative foundations that supported imperial decision-making and strategic planning. The mathematical precision evident in tribute calculations indicates advanced administrative capabilities while providing insights into pre-Columbian economic thought and practice. The comparative evaluation that places Aztec tribute collection in broader historical perspective reveals the remarkable achievements represented by this economic system while demonstrating its significance for understanding pre-Columbian civilization and its contributions to human economic development. The scale and sophistication of Aztec tribute collection exceeded comparable systems in many contemporary civilizations while establishing precedents for imperial economic organization. The modern relevance that Aztec tribute documentation possesses includes insights into sustainable extraction practices, regional economic specialization, and administrative techniques that remain applicable to contemporary economic challenges, while providing historical perspective on relationships between political power and economic organization. The lessons derived from Aztec tribute collection continue to inform understanding of imperial economics and resource management across cultural and temporal boundaries. In the end, the tribute empire that sustained Aztec power represented one of history's most sophisticated experiments in imperial economics, demonstrating that conquest could be transformed from simple plunder into sustainable wealth generation through administrative innovation, mathematical precision, and cultural sensitivity that balanced extraction with productivity while creating the economic foundations that supported the largest urban civilization in pre-Columbian America. The ledger of this empire reveals not merely the accumulation of wealth, but the creation of economic systems that could support complex societies while providing models for imperial organization that continue to inform our understanding of political economy and human organizational capability.